Hey everybody, happy Monday. I am just in my car, which often is like my office. Um, I just love the peace, the quiet when I'm able to um, be in this space. I don't know about you, but I have so found silence and solitude to be medicinal. Um, More so as I've gotten older than anything. I used to always be very active when I was, more in my youth. I'm still very active. It's different ways of being active, and as I've come to learn so much more about the inner terrain of my being and my aura, my mechanics, my wiring, my path, my soul, it's heavenly to be in this space of solitude. I quench for it. And I know just being in that space, I'm so much more able to hear inside the whispers, the wishes, the desires, the dreams, and the stories, the fears, the anxieties. It's, for me, it is kind of active meditation. I've been listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza's Rewired right now on Gaia.com. I recently did a subscription to that. I felt called to it. I had done it a year ago, and then I don't know, I just didn't fulfill through it. But more so now, I'm like, no, I feel like I'm more ready to have that back on board. And so I've just been listening a little bit to that. And, what I wanted to do is share, as a part of my own continued growth and exploration of life, is to show up here in this space conversationally and create a community where we can dialogue on these everyday, ordinary life moments. I've spent a lot of time on my journey looking to some degree outside of myself, watching myself be led by other people, always to feel like I come back to the inner knowing, as if all that was doing for me was just shining a light back on my true capacity of wisdom and insight. I know I'm not alone in exploring that, and I do recognize that all of us have an individual way in how we are guided or led or moved or inspired by respective others and teachings. And I've just kind of watched my own self morph more into my own personal creation, and how I would maybe be years ago when I was discovering someone's work versus now, where I'm expanding that lens from more of a, not in awe of the other, but in awe of my own self. As if when I'm traversing the path of learning things through other people's teachings, I look at it not any longer from the lens of, wow, they know so much. Am I ever going to know that? Or how did they get like that? And now it's more of, great, how wonderful that somebody is there to share their gifts, to illuminate the gifts within my own self. And I do see, like, the space that we're moving into now collectively. We are starting to move away from being led by another, because that has gotten so many people into, quote, trouble. And that's a pretty, broad word. What I mean by that is every time we look outside of ourselves and seek something that we think we don't have, that somebody else beholds for us. They may behold some insights and some illumination in some way, some points where we can be inspired by. But really, at the end of the day, we all have it inside of us. And that has become kind of a cliche in itself. I'm here to explain, at least through my own experience, that for somebody who has often given her power away to the other, who has appeared more, whatever that more is, whatever more that story has been for me, I've allowed myself to really behold the more within myself. Every time I'm like, these are things Sandra. Okay, keep trusting that. Keep leaning into that. Keeping in awe of that. And so when I kind of refer back to trouble, we often put everyone else on a pedestal. And then we have expectations of everybody. And then we look and look and look and want them to fulfill something. And only we can do that for ourselves. There's really no one else that can do that. Others can provide pebbles on the path for us to kind of decide, is that kind of a path I want to endeavor? And if we do, so long as we do, we keep it really open. And we keep ourselves very detached from believing that that path is the ultimate one all be all path. But it's one more, step into the depths of our own portal, like discovering the depths of our own inner portal and our own inner light. So anyway, it's one of those things where, as I'm growing and evolving and stepping more back into what I've known has existed, and often have lost either touch with it or have allowed doubt, fear, lack, and just anxiety or stories or unworthiness or anything else get into that space, my genuine intention in sharing things like this is to have no agenda, to have no commercialized, feel to it. It's just an everyday, ordinary being showing up here, exploring life with great wonder, curiosity, and awe, and trusting and hoping that in the way I explore that, I'm able to bring just a shed of light to anybody else that might be feeling the same, thinking the same, not my thoughts or feelings, but just for themselves, really just a genuine resonance, to see if there's any kind of genuine resonance there. And so I share this with you as a very general, just in the moment, let's put it out there and see if there's other people that feel this, if there's anything that comes up, if this is something that ignites insight to you, to your path, and encourage you to keep following your own heart. And as you feel called to explore that space with other people and communities and tribes and leaders, don't do it in a way that diminishes you. Do it with self-empowerment. Do it with the inner trust of your own soul, and really at large with the universe supporting the vibration that you bring through that experience, and see where it takes you, and allow that to serve as a conduit to your continued path of consciousness and awakening. So I hope that's a helpful sharing. And I am just feeling more and more called to just show up in these moments as my authentic self, and inviting you guys to do the same and keep this dialogue going in very natural ways so we can all learn and grow together and not feel like we have to wait for something to be perfect or beautified or, planned. Just in the moment, things that come up. Not everyone will feel this. It's not maybe everyone's style, and that's okay. I'm learning more and more for me. This type of way of being and offering is so, I felt a relief in that. Like it's a breath of fresh air for me to bring my whole self in this kind of way. So I send you love and blessings. Give yourself credit for all that you're doing to continue to evolve and grow in this very unchanging, vast universe. And when you feel as if you're not somewhere or you're feeling overwhelmed, take a pause, have some self-grace, behold grace for yourself, breathe, and just attune inside you just to really hear what it is that's coming up. Okay, all my love. Have a blessed Monday. Talk soon.